I met Sophia 5 years ago. It was a rainy evening, and I had just come out of a bookstore downtown. She was standing under the awning, trying to avoid getting soaked. Her umbrella had broken, and she looked frustrated but still managed to smile at strangers as they passed by. Something about her drew me in. I offered to walk her to the bus stop with my umbrella. She laughed and said, "You're either very kind or very brave." We shared that umbrella for 10 minutes, but it was enough. That's how it started. With small talk, laughter, and one shared umbrella. Our connection grew quickly. Within months, we were inseparable. We talked about everything: life, dreams, fears. I thought I had found someone who truly understood me. She made me feel like I was finally enough. Sophia was a graphic designer. She worked from home, freelancing for different companies. I worked in marketing for a tech firm. Our schedules matched well, and we often had long lunches together, sometimes working side by side. It felt like we were not just partners in love, but partners in life. I noticed she had a lot of male friends. That never really bothered me. I'm not the jealous type. In fact, I liked that she was so open and friendly. She told me about all her friends, how she'd known some of them since school, how they supported each other, how important they were to her. One name came up more than others: Ryan. "Ryan and I go way back," she said once, laughing as we made dinner together. "He used to be my neighbor when we were kids. We practically grew up in each other's houses." I smiled. "So, like a brother?" She nodded. "Exactly, like a brother. We've been through everything together." I believed her. Why wouldn't I? We got married 2 years after we met. It was a small ceremony by the lake, just close friends and family. Sophia looked stunning in her white dress, her eyes shining, as she said her vows. I cried. I didn't care who saw. It was the happiest day of my life. The first year of marriage was good. We took weekend trips, cooked together, planned for the future. We wanted kids someday, but not right away. We were happy. Or at least I thought we were. Then, things started to change. It was subtle at first. She'd be on her phone more often, smiling at texts she didn't share with me. I'd walk into the room and she'd quickly lock her screen. I'd ask, "Everything okay?" And she'd reply, "Yeah, just work stuff." Late at night, she'd stay up in the living room while I was in bed. I assumed she was working or watching something, but the longer it went on, the more I started to feel distant from her. We stopped having those deep conversations. We'd still eat together, but most of the time it was quiet, like something invisible had settled between us, thick and cold. I missed her even though she was right there. One night, I asked her if everything was okay. She smiled a little too quickly and said, "Of course. Just tired lately. Work's been stressful." I nodded. I wanted to believe her, but the distance kept growing. Then came the messages. It was a Saturday morning. Sophia was in the shower, and her phone buzzed on the counter. I never checked her phone before, never even thought about it, but something made me glance at the screen. It was a message from Ryan. "Last night was amazing. I still can't believe we're doing this." My stomach dropped. I stared at the message, trying to make sense of it. Maybe it was a joke? Maybe it wasn't what it sounded like, but then more messages popped up. "When can I see you again? Does he suspect anything?" I wish it was you and me back then, but better late than never. I felt like I was going to throw up. The shower was still running. I put her phone back exactly how it was and walked out of the bathroom like I hadn't seen anything. My heart was pounding in my chest, my mind racing. I didn't confront her right away. I needed to be sure. I needed more than just a few texts. Over. The next week, I started paying attention. I noticed how often she texted him, how her mood changed when she got a message, how she smiled when she was alone but forced it when she was with me. I went through our shared laptop one night while she was out with friends. I found emails, hidden folders, photos, conversations going back over a year. Ryan wasn't just a friend. He was the person she really wanted to be with. She called me her safe place in those messages. She called him her real love. I read words that burned into my mind like fire. Aaron's a good guy. But he's not you. I married him because I thought it would make me forget you. If I had just waited, we could have been together from the start. I closed the laptop and sat on the floor of our bedroom, unable to move. The woman I loved, the woman I trusted with everything, was only with me because she couldn't have the man she really wanted. I wasn't her love story. I was the backup plan. The next morning, I didn't speak to her. I couldn't. My words were gone. My heart felt hollow. She kissed me on the cheek, like nothing was wrong, and said, "I'll be home late tonight, meeting a client." I nodded. She left, and I broke. I sat in our living room for hours, staring at the wall, wondering how I had been so blind, so stupid. I thought about calling Ryan, about confronting him. I thought about screaming at her, throwing her things out, breaking everything in our apartment. But I didn't do any of that. I just cried. Quietly. Alone. I didn't sleep that night. Or the next. I stopped eating. My coworkers noticed I looked pale, distracted. I told them I wasn't feeling well. They didn't ask further. I started sleeping on the couch. Sophia noticed, of course. One night she asked, "Are you mad at me?" I looked at her and said, "I'm just tired." She nodded but looked unsure. Then, a few nights later, I couldn't hold it in anymore. She came home late, said she was with her client, smelled like someone else's cologne. I looked at her and asked, "How's Ryan?" Her face changed instantly. Panic, confusion, fear. What do you mean?" I stood up. "I know." Her mouth opened, but no words came out. "I've read everything. The messages, the emails, the pictures." She tried to deny it at first, then justify it, then cry. "It was a mistake," she said. I shook my head. "No. A mistake is one night. This was a decision, over and over again. You chose him, and you used me." She fell to her knees, sobbing, reaching for my hand. "I love you, Aaron. Please, it didn't mean anything." "Stop lying," I said, pulling away. "You loved him. Maybe you still do. But you don't love me. Not really. I was just the easy choice," she begged. Said she'd cut contact, that we could go to therapy. But I knew better. I had already lost her a long time ago. I just didn't see it. I packed my things that night, went to stay with a friend, told her I needed space. That space turned into weeks. I didn't answer her calls. I didn't read her texts. My heart was broken. My trust was destroyed, and I had no idea what came next. But I knew I couldn't go back, not after knowing I was never her first choice, not after realizing I was just a replacement. I stayed at my friend Matt's place for the first week after I left Sophia. He didn't ask too many questions, just handed me a beer and told me the guest room was mine for as long as I needed it. I appreciated that more than he knew. Talking felt impossible then. The weight in my chest made breathing hard. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her, laughing with him, texting him while I was cooking dinner, lying to me with that same soft voice she used when she said, "I love you." I didn't know how to move forward. I wasn't sure if I even wanted to. The first few days were numb. I wandered the streets a lot, walked into coffee shops just to sit and watch people live lives that didn't feel shattered. At night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, thinking about the last 5 years. Every memory I had with Sophia now felt like a lie. I didn't know which parts were real and which parts were just her pretending. She called constantly, texted, even more. "Please talk to me. I miss you so much. Aaron, I know I hurt you, but I'm still your wife. Let's fix this. Please don't give up on us." I didn't respond, not because I wanted to punish her, but because I had nothing left to say. I had spent 5 years giving her everything. My time, my trust, my heart. And she gave someone else the parts of her that were supposed to be mine. But then, something happened that I didn't expect. A week later, I got a message from an unknown number. "Hi, Aaron. I know we've never met, but I need to talk to you about Sophia. I was her friend. Or I thought I was. It was from a woman named Lily. Apparently, she had been friends with Sophia since college, part of a close-knit group Sophia used to go out with. She'd been at our wedding too, though I couldn't remember her face. At first, I ignored the message. I didn't want more drama. But something about it stayed with me. Maybe I was curious. Maybe I just wanted answers from someone who wasn't, trying to manipulate me. The next night, I replied, "What do you want to tell me?" The response came almost instantly. "I don't want to hurt you more than you've already been hurt, but I think you deserve to know the truth. Ryan wasn't the first." My stomach turned. I asked her to meet the next day. We sat at a quiet cafe near my office. Lily was nervous, kept glancing at the door like Sophia might walk in at any second. "She's my friend," she said. "Or was. But what she did to you, I can't stay silent." Lily told me everything. There had been another guy, before Ryan, a co-worker from one of Sophia's freelance contracts. It had lasted a few months. Sophia had ended it when things got serious between us. Or so she claimed. Lily said she only confessed to her because she needed someone to talk to. "She told me you were too perfect, that she felt trapped," Lily said. "But Aaron, she never said you were cruel or neglectful. She said you were good to her. Too good, in fact. Like it made her feel guilty for not loving you the same way." I was speechless. I thought Ryan was the big betrayal, but now I knew I had been living in a house of mirrors from the beginning. "She always loved Ryan," Lily continued, "even when you were dating. She told me she was trying to move on from him, but he was always there, in the background, waiting." I asked, "Why didn't you tell me before?" Lily lowered her eyes. "Because I didn't think it would go this far. And I didn't want to betray her. But now I see that staying silent just made me a part of the lie." I thanked her, not because I wanted to, but because deep down I needed the truth, as painful as it was. After Lily left, I sat alone with 1,000 thoughts racing through my head. My marriage was built on someone else's leftovers. I was never her choice. I was the guy she settled for, the one she hoped could replace what she really wanted but couldn't have. Until now. I went home that night, not to her, but to the apartment I had started renting. It was small, bare, just a mattress on the floor, a table, and a couch I bought secondhand. But it was mine. No lies in the walls, no betrayal in the air. That night, Sophia showed up. She stood at the door, tears in her eyes, holding a small box. I didn't invite her in, but I didn't slam the door either. "I brought your watch. You left it," she said softly. I took it, without a word. She didn't leave. "I miss you," she whispered. "I've been dying every day without you." "You should have thought about that before you handed your heart to someone else," I said. "I know," she cried. "I was stupid. I was selfish. I was scared." "You weren't scared," I said bitterly. "You were in love with someone else." She looked down. "I thought I could make it work. I really did. I thought if I married you, I'd move on." "Thanks," I said. "That makes it so much better." "I didn't mean it like that." "No, you meant it exactly like that. I was your bandage, your safe bet. The guy who could give you a future while you still held on to the past." She shook her head. "That's not fair." "No. What's not fair is that I built a life with someone who never really loved me." She cried harder now. "I did love you, I still do," I sighed. "You love me in the way people love comfort. Not in the way that matters when things get hard. You loved me because I was good to you. Because I made you feel safe. Not because your heart chose me. She stepped forward. Can't we try again? Please. We can go to counseling. I'll do anything. I can't trust you, I said. And if there's no trust, there's no relationship. She dropped to her knees. Please, Aaron, please don't give up on us. I wanted to. God, I wanted to believe it could all be fixed, that somehow she'd wake up and realize I was the one. But the truth was already out. And once you see the truth, you can't go back to living in a lie. I closed the door. The days that followed were a blur. I started therapy. I worked late. I focused on trying to heal. Sophia still reached out, sometimes angry, sometimes begging, sometimes silent. Then one night, a text came from Ryan. You think you're better than me? Grow up, man. She always loved me. You were just a step on her way back to me. That broke something in me. Not because I believed him, but because I knew he believed it. And maybe she did too. I didn't reply. I just blocked his number. I wasn't going to fight over someone who never truly chose me. 3 months passed. Sophia finally stopped calling. I started breathing easier. I still missed her sometimes. Still thought about the way she smiled in the mornings, the little dances she did while brushing her teeth, the way she held my hand in crowded places. But those memories came wrapped in thorns now. I couldn't hold them without bleeding. One day Lily messaged me again. I thought you should know, Sophia and Ryan are over. She left him. I stared at the message for a long time. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel sad. I just felt done. Later that night, I walked past a park where Sophia and I had once sat for hours, planning our honeymoon. I sat on that same bench alone. The city moved around me. Kids played. Dogs barked. People laughed, and I just sat there, broken, healing, learning to live again, not because I was ready, but because I had to. 6 months had passed since I left Sophia. Some mornings I still woke up thinking it was all a bad dream, that I'd turn over and see her lying beside me, smiling half asleep, asking for 5 more minutes. But the other side of the bed remained empty, just cold sheets and silence. In some strange way, the pain had become familiar. Like a dull ache you stop noticing until someone touches the bruise again. I had stopped waiting for her messages, stopped checking social media to see if she and Ryan were still together. I didn't want to know anymore. I was trying to live. It wasn't perfect. I still had bad days. But they were fewer now. I focused on work. I volunteered on weekends at a local youth program. I tried things I had always said I'd do later. Cooking classes, hiking, even photography. The apartment didn't feel so empty anymore. One night in early spring, I was walking home from a bookstore when I saw someone sitting outside my building. At first, I didn't recognize her. She was thinner, pale, wrapped in a coat too big for her. It was Sophia. My heart didn't race. My hands didn't shake. I just stood there, frozen in place, unsure what to feel. She stood slowly when she saw me, her eyes glassy but calm. "Hi," she said softly. "Hi," I replied. "I didn't know where else to go," she whispered. "I won't stay. I needed to say something to your face." I gestured to the bench outside the entrance. We sat, a familiar silence between us, but no longer comforting. "I'm not here to ask for anything," she began. "I know I don't have the right to. I know I broke you." I didn't speak. I let her talk. "I left Ryan," she said. "Not because I thought you'd take me back, but because I realized he was just a shadow of something I couldn't let go. And that chasing him cost me the only real thing I ever had." Her voice trembled. "I destroyed the one person who loved me without conditions, and I thought I could live with it because I thought I was choosing passion. But it wasn't passion. It was familiarity and ego and a stupid fantasy I never grew out of. Tears slid down her cheeks. I was so scared when I was with you. Not because you were cruel. You were never anything but good. But because I didn't feel worthy of your kind of love. I thought I'd mess it up. So I messed it up on purpose. The words hit hard. But I didn't cry, because I had already done all my crying. I came here to tell you I'm sorry, she said. Not the kind of sorry that hopes for forgiveness, just the kind that wants you to know you were right to walk away, that none of this was your fault. I nodded. Thank you. We sat in silence again. The air was cool. The city buzzed faintly around us. After a while, she stood. I'll go now, she said. I just needed to say it. But as she turned, I stopped her. Wait. She looked back, surprised. I forgive you, I said simply. Her lips parted, eyes wide. You do? I do, I repeated. Not for you, but for me. She nodded slowly, tears spilling again. I don't deserve it. Maybe not, I said. But holding on to the anger was killing me. Forgiving you. It's the only way I can really move on. She stepped closer. Does that mean? No, I said gently. It doesn't mean we can go back. Too much happened, and I'm not the same man I was. You're not the same woman. Whatever we had, it died the day I realized I was never your first choice. She looked down, broken, but she didn't argue. I hope you find peace, I added. I really do. She nodded, then walked away, slowly, quietly, disappearing into the night. I didn't watch her go. I just closed my eyes and let the weight lift from my chest. Months passed. The world didn't stop. And neither did I. I met new people, made new friends. I started smiling again without forcing it. And one sunny afternoon, in a local park where I used to sit alone and think about everything I had lost, I met someone. Her name was Emily. She wasn't flashy. She didn't try to impress me with big words or dramatic stories. She just smiled in a way that felt honest, talked in a way that made me feel like I was being heard. We met again, and again. And slowly, very slowly, something began to grow. Not a replacement, not a rebound, but something new, something grounded in honesty, in patience, in respect. On our fourth date, I told her everything about Sophia, about Ryan, about how I had been broken. She didn't flinch. She just reached across the table, took my hand, and said, "Thank you for trusting me with that." There was no judgment in her eyes, only warmth. It wasn't a fairy tale. It wasn't fireworks. But it was real, and that was all I wanted. 1 year after the divorce, I got a letter. No return address, but I knew the handwriting. It was from Sophia. It read, "Dear Aaron, I hope this finds you well. I don't expect a reply. I just wanted you to know that I'm doing better. I've started therapy. I'm reconnecting with family. I'm working on being someone I can be proud of. Not for anyone else, but for me. I still think of you sometimes, not out of regret anymore, but out of gratitude. You loved me in a way I didn't know how to accept. And though I ruined it, I want you to know you changed me. I hope you found peace. Maybe even love again. Wherever life takes you. Thank you for once loving me the way you did. Sophia." I folded the letter and placed it in a box with a few old memories. Not because I wanted to hold on to the past, but because it was part of my story, and now, finally, I was ready to start a new chapter, a better one, a real one, a real one.